Today I'm making chimichangas smothered in a delicious and easy chile con queso. So I'm starting with the filling for the chimichangas, and I'm making picadillo. To start, I have 1 pound of lean ground beef, and I'm going to put it in a cold pan, turn on the heat, and start to break it apart and saute. Now you can fill your chimichangas with what you like, chicken, beef, pork, it all works. I'm going with picadillo today. I'm adding a half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm also going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, and give it a mix and continue to cook the ground beef. And the ratios of all of these seasonings and ingredients are up to you. So now I'm going to add half of a small onion that I've diced, give that a mix and saute. I'm also going to be adding half of a small bell pepper that I've also diced, and 1 medium potato that I cut into small cubes, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, mix and saute for about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic that I minced, and 1 tablespoon of beef bouillon powder. Be sure to mix, continue the saute for another minute or so. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of ground cumin, about a 1/4 teaspoon. It's really optional and up to you. Now I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of water, give it a mix. I'm going to cover with a lid, lower the heat, and cook until the potatoes are tender. And once my picadillo has cooked, this is for chimichangas. If you're using this for burritos or tacos, it's not the soupy kind. I want to make sure that the water sort of evaporates and cooks out. And really the water is just to help the potatoes cook along, but this is what you'll end up with. I'm going to set it aside and let it cool for a little bit. And now I'm going to work on my flour tortillas. Now, if you want the recipe for homemade flour tortillas, I will link the recipe video below or somewhere above this video. Now I'm ready to put my chimichangas together. So my picadillo has cooled off. It's sort of like room temperature. It's slightly warm. Here I have my flour tortilla. You can use store-bought, the burrito sized, and I'm just going to add a couple of scoops of my filling. So I'm going to tightly wrap and roll this. And it's ready. Now you can deep fry this, you can freeze it. I have other chimichanga recipe videos. I will link those below. But today I'm using the air fryer. So I'm just going to brush oil on the exterior of my chimichanga. I'm going to place it into the air fryer. And I'm going to set the timer for somewhere between 15 to 17 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. In the meantime, I am going to make the chile con queso. So I have a preheated pan over a medium-low heat. I'm adding a half tablespoon of unsalted butter. I'm going to melt that down a little bit. Now I'm going to saute 1 jalapeno. This was a large one, and I removed the seeds and I just diced it. You could also use a can of Rotel in place of all the fresh ingredients, but this really does taste pretty good. Now I'm adding 1 tablespoon of finely minced onion and 1 clove of garlic, 1 medium Roma tomato that I've diced, and just continue the saute. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. You could use regular, but the smoked really tastes good, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion powder. Now continue to combine and cook. Now I'm going to add 8 ounces of Velveeta cheese. This is American processed cheese. I'm also going to add 4 ounces of sour cream. I'm also adding a half cup of whole milk. And now over a low heat, I've sort of turned it down. You'll want to just melt and combine everything until it is smooth and creamy, just like this. And it's done. Okay, so at this point, my chimichanga is done. And you can actually do this in the oven as well if you want to do several at a time. I've deep fried these before, which also works, but before deep frying, I do like to freeze them seam side down. But today, I opted for the air fryer. So now I'm just going to smother this in this delicious Chile Con Queso, and this will be lunch for my family. And the recipe that I made today will definitely give you somewhere between 4 to 5 chimichangas. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.